Hi everybody, it's Craig Freshley with another good group tip. I am here in Washington, D.C. at the headquarters of National Geographic Society. Just finished a meeting, day-long meeting, right around this boardroom table, and there's something I want to show you. So here's the meeting room, a pretty typical conference room, except this one has awesome National Geographic maps on the wall, and it looks out onto a beautiful courtyard with cherry tree blossoms, I might add. But over here is a door. This door is the entrance to the meeting room, and on the outside of this door is a sign, and it says, "You are now entering an effective meeting zone." Not only that, it explains whether or not you should enter this room. Are you prepared to have an effective meeting? I want to tell you about this sign. Okay, so this is essentially a decision tree. A bunch of things to consider before you enter the meeting room. Remember, this chart is posted outside the door. And it starts right at the top by splitting into two parts with this question: did you organize this meeting? And what this implies is that both the meeting leader and the meeting participants have a role in making sure that the meeting is effective. Let's take a look at the participants' side of the decision tree, and the top question here is, did you bring an electronic device? If you did, the green box says, for use of all electronic devices, follow the ground rules set by the leader of the meeting. And it goes on to encourage you to be courteous in how you use your electronic device. So right off the bat, this chart is confronting what is one of the biggest challenges with meetings today, and that is the distraction of electronic devices. Next question, are you on time? If not, yikes! Enter the meeting room quietly and don't ask for a recap of what you missed so far. Next time, be on time. If you are on time, the chart says, wonderful, you may now enter this effective meeting zone. Let's take a look at the other side of the chart. The questions that the organizer would want to answer. Question number 1, could the goals of this meeting be met using email, phone, or chat? And if the answer to that question is yes, the green box says, well, then you should cancel this meeting. So on this side of the chart too, the first question confronts what is probably the biggest reason for meeting ineffectiveness, and that is they don't need to happen in the first place. If your meeting doesn't have a stated goal, and if that goal cannot be met, or rather if that goal can be met some other way, then don't have a meeting. All right, let's assume that you do have goals and they can't be met any other way. Next question. Do you have an agenda prepared? If you don't, the chart says, shame on you. You should postpone this meeting until you have created an agenda. Without one, it's easy for the meeting to get off track. All right, if you do have an agenda prepared, the blue box says, great. Here are a few more ground rules to keep in mind before you enter. Start and end the meeting on time. Set ground rules for electronic devices. Assign a timekeeper and a note taker. Communicate open and honestly. And provide meeting follow-up and action items. Now look, this is just the highlights, right? This is not everything you need to know to have an effective meeting. But it's pretty good at hitting the basics and confronting the things that typically cause for meeting ineffectiveness. Electronic devices, timeliness, goals and a clear purpose for the meeting, an agenda, and other ground rules. And look here in the bottom right-hand corner of the chart. It has contacts, and it provides the name and the phone number and the email address for someone to contact if you want effective meeting tips and training. National Geographic recognizes the value of effective meetings, so they have someone on staff whose job it is to help other staff have effective meetings. All right, so there you have it, the National Geographic version of what makes for an effective meeting.